Okay, welcome all. Am I audible to you? Yes,
Yes,
participants.
participants.
Okay. Just sharing the screen. So in the morning session, we have discussed about quick sort. You might have remember that it is one of the best time complexity. It is having time and space complexity. So in today's session, we will discuss about the program and we'll see the practical code. Okay. So some people are still joining. We will start in a minute. Yes. So participants, we have completed this B2 assignment yesterday, and we have studied about two sorting techniques. That was one of the was selection sort, another was bubble sort. In today's session, we will study about two other sorting techniques. One is insertion sort, and another is quick sort with some code. So let me start with the Python editor so that we will be able to use the sorting technique. So let us stimulate insertion sort. Some remarks are being pasted over here. To help that, what is done? First is we have to scan from index number 1 to n minus 1, and we have to shift the data of anything which is greater than a particular element to be inserted, that is the minimum element, will be inserted at index 0, that is at the from the head of that array. So anything greater than will be shifted to right one position of its current position. Therefore we are starting the comparison with 1 and not 0, because 0 minus something will give you a negative value, and therefore over here we start the insertion sort with 1 to n. So any element which is found less than the index value, that is of index 0, initially it will be inserted at index 0 and everything will be right shifted. We have n number of passes, so we can simulate it how many passes we require by the count as I, and since there are n minus 1 comparisons, so we require some n minus 1 passes also in insertion sort. As we know, the time complexity is n square. Now over here, we first identify the key, and key is nothing but array of I. So initially this is array of 1. So it will point to the first array index, and j is nothing but 1 less than I. So it is j is equal to 0 initially. So if j is in the range and the key is less than array of j, so what we do, we have to just swap the contents. So simply array of j plus 1 is equal to array of j. That means we have shifted the contents of index 0 to the right hand side, and then reduce again j to minus 1. That means j will again become 0, and we print the array what is it is, and after that we assign j plus 1 is equal to key. So this is the simple logic we have for insertion. We are not doing any exchange over here. So you should remember that it is insertion operation, and code is very easy. If you work with that, you have two for loops, one for loop over here and one while loop over here. So in while loop, we have a simple condition, that is j is greater than equal to 0, and initially j is equal to 0, and key, that is the value to be inserted into the array, it should be less than array of j. So if it is less than the 0th index, then it should be inserted, the key should be inserted at the 0th index. So before insertion, what we do, we shift the entire array to the right hand side. We will see the stimulation over here, how to shift the entire array to the right hand side. That is the cost of this algorithm, and for that purpose we are printing the contents to identify each step. Next is array of j plus 1 will be the key. So the key will be inserted at its original position, and we'll see again print the array after insertion. Now this getList function is simply appending of contents to the array. That means we are just creating how many data items to be sorted. Here naturally we will take the input in the terms of floating point values, because our application is demanding of floating point values. So you can see over here what is the application. It says floating point numbers in ascending. So we are again using the same problem statement, that is write a Python program to store first year percentage of students in array and sort the array of floating point numbers. So we are storing percentages. So we say that it is a floating point value, and the getList function is only collecting data into an array and returning the output. So in the main program, we have the array empty declaration, then getList, and then we insert the contents into the array, and finally we get the sorted outcome. So let us see the stimulation and understand the concept of insertion sort. So how many data items over here? So we'll say 7 data items we'll put. I'll put some 7 data items. In the first item, we can insert about 58.5, then 78.2, 46.0, 39.4, 10.5, 22.8, and finally we will have one more value, that is 31.9. We have taken some values over here, and let us see and study each pass of it. So if there are 7 elements, then we require 7 minus 1, that is 6 number of passes. So let us start from pass 0. So this was the original contents which is now highlighted. Yes, participants able to view the screen clearly? Or shall I make it little bigger? Yes, participants able to view the screen clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the highlighted were the contents, and over here we are stimulating about insertion sort. So in the past one, 58 is compared with 78, and you find that in single comparison there was no sorting techniques because it is already sorted order. Then in past two, we have comparison between the next elements, that is 46 is compared with 58. So we see that there is some insertion is possible. So how it is done? 78.2 is compared with 46, and we see that 78 is duplicated over here. Yes, participants, are you getting? 78 is shifted to the right hand side. Able to understand this? And at this position, that is 78, then 70 is shifted to the right hand side. Again, 58 is also shifted to the right hand side, and 46 is inserted at the position of 58. Okay, so it is shifting of content to the right hand side and then insertion. Yes, participants understood step 1. So first it finds the list of that. So 58 he found, it is in order. 78 is in order. Now what to be inserted? 46 is not in order. It should be at place 58. So what it does, it shifts all the elements to the right hand side. Left side elements will be shifted to right hand side. So we have 78 shifted to its right, then 58 shifted to the right, and then there is a insertion. So this is at pass 2. Now let us study for pass 3. What is happened after pass 3? Let us check. So over here 46 was in original position, 58 is original position, 78 is original position. Sorry, we will move over the above one, 46, 58, and so 39 we find. So 39.4 is not at its original position, and it should be at index 0. So how we do? We'll compare 39 with 78. So it is less. So move 78 to the right of itself. Okay. Then 39 is compared with 58, and then 58 is shifted to its right side. Again 39.4 is compared with 46, and 46 will shift to the right hand side. Now the index position 0 is updated with 39.4. So we say it is as pass 4. Yes, participants understood the concept. Now let us move to some again sequence. So again we are checking from 39, 46 it is in sequence, 58 is in sequence, 78 is also in sequence, but 10.5 is not in sequence. So what it does, it finds the exact position of 10.5 which is at index 0 and shift everything towards its right hand side as it has done previously. Okay, so by pass 5, it has sorted some of the contents. So we see that the highlighted part is all the sorted contents. Now second is we get 22.8. Now this is an intermediate insertion. It is not at index 0. So how it has been done? It compares with 78.2 and shifted 78 towards its right hand side. Then 22.8 is compared with 58 and 58 is greater, so it is moving to the right hand side. Then again 22.8 is compared with 46. 46 is greater, therefore it is shifted towards its right hand side. Then it compares with 39.4 and again it is greater, therefore 39.4 is shifted towards its right hand side. Now the last element, it is comparing with 10.5 and at that position 10.5 is less than, so it insert itself to the next part, that is 22.4 at index 1 after 10.5. So this is how your insertion sort works. It positions or inserted the value exactly at that position. Only thing is it will consume little computation time between shifting of contents to the right hand side. That is the complexity of the algorithm. Now in the sixth part we can observe that data which is partially sorted and only 13.1.9 is to be inserted. So again it chooses the best place, that is up till 39.4. Everything which is highlighted will be shifted towards the right hand side and 31.9 will be inserted at index 2. So this is the algorithm which is concerned with insertion sort. So there are this step-by-step stimulations we have done. We have shown all the passes and what happened at each passes. You can highlight that. So if you have taken the snapshot and if you want to study it, you can highlight that it is a right shift like this. You can underline that so that you could able to understand where there was a right shift. So you can see over here 78 was there and 58.5 was right shifted and then there was insertion. Yes, participants able to understand the concept of insertion sort. For study purpose, I will share the code with you for insertion sorting. You can modify the code and I hope you can able to write your own code by studying the following one. So this is insertion sort. I will give you the main program first. So I share the contents in the chat box. You can take down the main program. Then we have the get list. And you can study the concept or the algorithm that is concerned with insertion sort. Sorry, the last element is the key which is not been displayed. So I put it again. Last two lines will be repeated. So I hope everyone got the program of insertion sort. You can use any online compiler to execute it using Python and study the code. Try to modify and write your own code instead of just copying the contents. You can modify it. You can modify the while condition, and you can see whether you can replace it with some other conditional parameters. Okay, so here we are not exchanging the values, we are shifting the contents towards the right and inserting the data at a particular exact position. So that was as far as insertion sort is been concerned. Suppose you want to print the toppers of that, so I'll put the topper function. So this is the topper function where you will be able to print the top 5. So if the in exams it has been asked that implement insertion sort using floating point data and display the toppers or top 5, the simplest answer you can give with all these function definitions. Yes, participants, did you got the code, entire code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us move to one more interesting concept that was studied in the morning. So I'll share the screen what was the problem statement. Again, here the problem statement is we have to write a Python program to store first year percentage of students in array. So again, we have the get list function. So that will be able to get the contents. Now I have just shared the contents of get list. So we'll omit that. Write the function for sorting array of floating point numbers in ascending order using quick sort and display top 5 scores. So it is a repeated assignment, but we have different complexities and therefore the algorithm is being studied. So for study purpose, we will share the code with you that is related to quick sort. So yes, participants are able to view the code which is highlighted.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first, there is a technique in quicksort that every time your data is being partitioned into wiki over here, it is actually a logical partition. The array is a continuous one, and we logically partition using some variables. So in order to divide the list into some partitions, we have some logic. Either we just partition the list into two parts and recursively sorted. So that was the concept of merge sort. But over here we have some elements. So in the morning session we have discussed that generally a pivot value is taken as a reference to partitioning of the list. In most of the example, the first value is termed as the pivot value. But over here we have taken a last value of the pivot value. So we say either first value is also okay. Some programs you can write that pivot value initially is low, array of I instead of high, you can write low. So over here we can write a remark. You can also take array of low, but only a little logical change is there. So we have to make some logical changes every time. So now what is this low? I understand it I is equal to low minus 1. So initially low index is 0. So it will be minus 1. So I will be minus 1. So we have a for loop. So what is this for loop for? It is for shifting of contents to the left of the pivot and shifting of contents to the right of the pivot, and send the pivot position in such a way that the array can be separated with the reference of the pivot. So if array of j, which is initially 0, j is initially 0, it is equal to low, and it is less than the pivot value, that is the highest index value, then we increment the value of I and swap the contents with another index. So over here you can see we array of I is swapping content with array of j. So note down this, very important. Even though we are comparing with the pivot value, we are not swapping the contents with the pivot, but we are swapping the contents with some another value, that is I and j. Okay. So over here we say that we are comparing array of the first index with the pivot, and if you find that it is pivot value is greater, then we are swapping it with the jth index. So array of I initially is now 0. It is compared with the jth index, that may be naturally 1, and that is swapped. We'll see the simulation properly so we can understand the code. So what happened after that? We have to print the array. So I have printed the array for understanding purpose at each step what has been happened, and then we exchange the pivot value with the greater data item specified by I. So it is something that we are inserting the pivot value at a proper position, and that position where it is inserted is been referenced as I plus 1. Okay, so this I plus 1 is the reference where you can divide the list into subparts, that is left subpart and right subpart. So it is an intermediate value between high and low, and here the partitioning algorithm is completed. Okay, so we get some reference where sublist 1 and sublist 2 can be divided into two parts with respect to the pivot. That is only the purpose of partitioning. Now, second is the actual quicksort, which is going to use the partitions. It is a recursive program. Recursive means the program is calling itself until and unless there is no further subdivision. So it is just checking. We will have three parameters. First is the array. Second is the low, initially 0, and high is nothing but the length of the array. So we have low is initially 0, high is initially the length of the array or size of the array, and AR is the array name. So if we compare, if low is less than high, so naturally it is less than high, but when we partitioning the data, low may or high may be reduced. So therefore, if we have this condition to be checked. So it is one type of termination condition. So nothing will happen beyond that. Now, to get the partitioning index pi, we send the parameters array, low and high. So we get the first partition. It will automatically detect the pivot. So pivot is nothing but array of high, and it will print the new pivot. So new partitioning values will get the new pivot value, or we can say the new partitioning value. Now recursive call to the left sublist. So generally first every time left sublist is been executed, and after the completion of left sublist, right sublist is executed. So we have to remember the sequence. since it is a recursive call again, this left sublist will be executed. So what are the parameters to the left sublist? So low is not going to change. So what is going to change is the high. So the high value is reduced now. Instead of the size of the array, it is pi minus 1. That is the partitioning reference which we got from the partitioning function. And after execution of quicksort recursively on the left subtree, the right subtree gets executed. So we have the right partitions. I've printed the left partition and right partitions. And over here we have the parameter. Now low is going to change in right partitioning. I is going to be static. So pi plus 1 will be the data to be sorted using quicksort. So you can just remember two lines which is very important, that is quicksort low of p of I plus 1. Second line is quicksort pi plus 1 plus high, that is the right sub list. Okay, so then we print the contents. Now over here for you can use the get list function which we have discussed. So in get list you can take random value dynamic values at runtime, and here we have taken some 7 elements, and the unsorted array elements are first printed, and then we find the length of it. The quicksort function is called over here with passing 3 parameters, that is array, low and high. High is nothing but the size, therefore n minus 1 is been passed to the quicksort. Finally, after sorting the contents, we print the array and then we print the toppers. That is the task of our program. So this were as per as basic description of the program. If you find any difficulty to understand the code, you can discuss in upcoming sessions. Now let us stimulate the results. So we'll run the program. Okay, now let us see what was happened in every step. So the unsorted array was been first printed, that is 78, 67, and so on the elements over here. So by the algorithm, who is the pivot first? It was the highest element at highest position. So high is nothing but the size. So the first pivot is nothing but 46. Yes, participants understood the first pivot we have taken as array of high. Do you remember? Check it over here. See, pivot value is nothing but array of high. So 46 is the pivot. And now what happened in the next comparison? So it is comparing 46 with 78. Then it is comparing 46 with 67. So what this 46 is? 46 is less than 78. 46 is less than 67. So they are moved to the right hand side of the pivot. Now what is 22? 22 is less than the pivot. So it is been positioned at index 0. So 22 is positioned at index 0 and it is swept with 78. So you can see this 78 has taken the position of 22. Okay. Then 31.9. Yes, it is compared with the pivot value 46 and it is less than it. So naturally it will swap the contents with 67 and it will take its position over here. That is at index 1. Moving further, the next is less than value 46 is 10.5. So this will take the next index value, that is index 2. Again, we have 39, which is compared with 46, and it will take the next index value at 67.2, and it is swapped with 67.2. So final output at pass 1, you can see this is a half sorted list immediately. Okay, so the highlighted part is a part of left subtree, whereas the other parts, that is 78.5 and 67, is the part of right subtree. Now what is to be inserted is 46 at a proper position. So we can see the left subtree is very correct, and when inserting 46 at its correct position, we get the entire array. Yes, participants understood the concept of partitioning and insertion. Okay, so it is a combination of exchanges first, and then 46 is inserted in between. So we have two partitions. One is less than 46 is left subtree, and one is greater than 46 is right subtree. So you can see the left subtree is executed first, therefore we get the left answers. So I have highlighted the left subtree. It is very correct. Now the new pivot in left subtree is nothing but 39.4. So over here the new pivot is 39.4, and recursively it will check any value is compared with 39.4. So over here all the other values, that is 22.8, 31.9 and 10.5 is less than 39.4. So the left subtree is updated. Okay, don't worry about right subtree, because right subtree will not be empty over there. That is nothing. 46 will be having the right subtree of 46 is different. So after division of left subtree, we will find that it is 22.8, 31.9 and 10.5. So the new pivot is over here is 10.5. So as we see, 22.8 and 31.9 is greater than 10.5. So they will add to the right subtree of 10.5 and not to the left subtree. Therefore, the left subtree of 10.5 will be empty. Everyone getting this concept? Since 10.5 is the pivot and 22.8 and 31.9 is greater than the pivot, they will add to the right subtree of 10.5 or right sub list of the 10.5. Therefore, the left sub list of 10.5 is empty. Now we finished about left subtrees. So now we get the answer for right subtree. So right subtree of 10.5 is, we are getting the answer as 10.5, 22.8 and 31.9. So over here the pivot chooses is 22.8, and naturally 10.5 is left of the pivot and right of the pivot will be 31.9. So over here the sorting is completed for left subtree. Now we can see the right hand side there was 28.8. So right of 28.8 is now 31.9. You can see over here it is arranged the contents in the sorted order. So if the pivot is 22.8, left sub list is 10.5 and right sub list is 31.9. So you can see, even though we are logically dividing the contents of the array, the indexes are being just updated. So that is the significance of quicksort. It is updating the contents at particular indexes. Now let us move to the right subtrees. So right subtree is updated over here, and we find the data has been sorted till 46 and 67 and 78 also, but new pivot over here is defined. So the right of 46 is 67.2 and then 78.5. So the new pivot is 78.5. So everything you can see over here is left of that 78 is the left subtree. So we get the updated left subtree, and 78 is inserted at the end. So there is empty right subtree, the algorithm terminates. So we get the sorted outcome, and finally you can see the toppers are being displayed in descending order. Yes, participants, any question or query you have related to the stimulation? So if you don't have any queries, I'll share the code. So this is the main program. And just share it. For study purpose. So you can have the code for quick sort. So the topper function is also there. I recommend everyone that use the code for study purpose, and try to write your own code. That will be your achievement. So we'll stop the presentation over here. Yes, participants, do you got the entire code in the chat box?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. So the attendance for today's attendance code is C00410. You can give attendance for DSL subject. Thank you. Thank you very much. If there are no queries, practice the code for at least 1 hour, and remember it.